Sony did a pretty epic state of play yesterday. I already gave my kind of tongue-in-cheek review of it, where it was better than what Microsoft showed at their E3. A lot of people don't know how to take kind of some humor and things like that. I don't know what the deal is. It's like you guys kind of lose your funny bone when it comes to these console wars and things like that. But again, I want to get into sort of response versus what Sony's going to have to do to continue going forward with the amazing things that they've been dropping, and this is really, really cool to see. So I'm sure you guys are all very excited to get into it. What's going on, everybody? It's me, Dealer Crap Gaming. Now, what I like to do is get you faces to slap that like button. We don't want no babies slapping that like button. We need faces slapping that like button. Slap it! Slap that like button. Now, onto these type of things, okay? So, it was funny because at the beginning of the day yesterday, before Sony's State of Play, Phil Spencer made a little tweet about how he's excited for Bethesda to show it off. Listen, Phil, shutty, okay? I like how a lot of Xbox fanboys make it sound like Microsoft had anything to do with this, right? Microsoft came in, bought this company well after Sony made a deal to make this game exclusive. Microsoft had no grubby mitts or paws or anything on this, right? It's like I see actual Xbox fanboys say ridiculous things like, oh, well, Skyrim won Game of the Year in 2011, and that's an Xbox studio now, so that counts as an Xbox. No, it doesn't. Shut up. It doesn't count. It really doesn't. I'm sorry. Now, I know a lot of people probably, they want to use stuff like that because Bethesda in the past has, released games that have won awards and things like that, and that's not something synonymous with Xbox studios or Xbox games, but it just doesn't work like that. You can't just go back and go, oh, well, Doom won an award for best this in 2016 or, 1999. You can't do that. That's not really how it works. It's whatever they put out down the road, like Starfield even. That has nothing to do with, Microsoft. I know people won't agree with that, but it 100% is the honest truth. And, Microsoft and Phil Spencer, even though he tries to pretend like, hey, he's not into, taking shots or anything like that at the competition, him going out there and going, oh, we're looking forward to doing that, is clearly him trying to say, hey, don't forget about us. We're still in the mix. This game's going to come to Xbox in a year or whatever. Trying to stay a little bit in the know, but it just doesn't work out that well because when we see what PlayStation was able to do, they did a really good job of it. Now, when it comes to Deathloop, you have a lot of Xbox fanboys kind of complaining about it. Obviously, Deathloop is going to remain a PS5 console timed exclusive until at least September of 2022, according to the latest gameplay video. We did see a fresh look at the upcoming time-bending shooter yesterday during the State of Play broadcast, and at the end, there's a small message that says Deathloop won't be released on other consoles until at least 9/14/2022. While Bethesda is now part of Xbox Family Studios, thanks to Microsoft throwing a massive amount of cash at ZeniMax Media last year, Deathloop's timed exclusivity on PS5 was always going to be maintained. That's obviously good news for owners of Sony's next-generation console, and presumably Xbox Series X and S gamers won't get a taste of the action until the exclusivity period ends. Everyone's happy that way, right? Well, no, not Switch owners or whatever, but who knows? I mean, maybe they might not even think it's worth it porting this game to Xbox after a year. To me, it's like once you have a certain amount of once you have a certain amount of time in on a game, like, does anybody really care about it? Like, I don't know if that's the case, like, to be honest with you. If we even go back to what happened with Xbox with Rise of the Tomb Raider, remember that was an Xbox One, what was it, a year timed exclusive, and I think the sales were very poor on PlayStation 4 after that. Because I think honestly, once, especially with console gamers, I don't know about PC because, a lot of them play some of the older stuff anyway. Like, if you ever look at the top played games on PC, it's like, really, it's kind of funny to see because it's like Counter-Strike Go and, these kind of games that, that are very, very old and, Dota 2, you know what I mean? So, but when it comes to like console gaming, usually if you have to wait a year for something, people don't really want to do that, so what we do is see sort of a situation where that's kind of coming back again. So a year from now, are people really going to want to be interested in it or going to be interested in it? I kind of doubt it, But some of the things that we saw with what was going on in that, I saw a lot of like Xbox fans. The funniest thing about Xbox fans, right? They see a state of play and they call it garbage or whatever, basically. So then you pretty much have to understand where Xbox fans are coming from. Xbox fans were wait for E3, wait for Gamescom, wait for XO. They literally wait, and that's just how they go about things. That's how they live their lives. And they've had one trashy, show after another, but have the balls to come out and say something like, "Oh, that was a bad show." Now, listen, I may have exaggerated and had a little bit of fun with people saying it was better than Microsoft's E3, but for Xbox fanboys to say that it was a terrible show or whatever, given the shows that we've seen from Microsoft in the past, I think that you guys really, really are losing the fight right there. Because again, Microsoft, it's like pot meet kettle, because you're both the same color. And I just can't believe that they would have. It's like Xbox fans mentioning, making fun of any games that PlayStation has exclusively right now, whether it's cross-gen or not, right? Like, you guys haven't had a first-party game release this year yet, and not a AAA exclusive on Xbox in 2 years, but yet you want to talk about or make fun of what Sony's showing. Like, it never really made fun of it, you know what I mean? So it never really made sense to me for people to kind of poke fun at that. Now, the other thing that's happening that I thought was hilarious was Death Stranding director's cut, which I thought looked absolutely fantastic. I'm a big Death Stranding fan. This game looks phenomenal. But this is something that, again, the negative Game Pass effect, which would be the fact that people don't want to actually pay for content. So the director's cut's going to release on September 24th with a lot of extra features. Death Stranding director's cut's going to release on PlayStation 5 on September 24th. It's been announced much more than just 4K 60 frames of the highly popular title. Death Stranding director's cut will bring a raft of new features to Hideo Kojima's most recent opus, including new battles, improved melee combat, new weapons, a cargo catapult for shooting precious cargo to its destination, and most importantly, all new story missions. Death Stranding Director's Cut on PS5 is shaping up to be the definitive way to play the game. And again, this is all upgraded for $10 if you already own the digital version on PlayStation 4, which, again, you had Xbox fanboys complain about this, but there is no way to just pay for prettier graphics of the base game on PS5. What you're paying for is they've added new music. Like, this looks like almost a totally different game. There's like racing and all kinds of cool stuff in there. Like, it looks very interesting. I definitely want to go take it for a ride and see what it's all about. I'm very excited for that. And I think that as fans, we should all be very excited about the future of these types of titles. I know it's not maybe ideal for some people, like, oh, hey, well, why are they doing director's cuts or whatever? But honestly, when you start off a generation, would you rather have something like a director's cut, or would you rather have the Xbox side of things and no cut? You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, to me, it's definitely something that it merits talking about. And again, when we talk about what's going on with Microsoft versus what's going on with Sony, Sony will have some big things showing. Sony will have their big showcase or whatever. Then you'll have like the Xbox fans kind of downplay it or whatever, and that's going to happen. Like, listen, there's never going to be a way around like console wars, just like there's never going to be a way around people liking sports teams over the other or whatever. There's never going to be a way around that stuff. It's always going to be something that realistically, like, gamers are going to continue to kind of talk about and argue about, and I'm all for it as long as it doesn't get personal, as long as it doesn't get insane. Keep it for what it is. But again, like, no matter what happens, like people have this in their heads that Microsoft somehow or Xbox is gonna quote unquote beat PlayStation, and that was always a stupid thing to say, or a stupid thing to kind of think. I mean, because that's just never going to happen. PlayStation, worldwide name, worldwide recognition, trusted by gamers for putting out fantastic games, exclusives, and things like that. Xbox, no AAA exclusives in almost 2 years, no first party release this entire year so far. Yeah, so it's easy to see why people continue to trust PlayStation as a brand, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out long term, because I still see well over well above a 2-to-1 advantage for PlayStation 5 sales. I don't see that ending anytime soon. With that being said, I'm going to link this stuff. What do you guys think? Do you think that there's anything that Microsoft can do? I don't know. It's going to be tough. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.